Hi guys, my name is Korpen. Today we are trying out the Achilles. Yes, I bought it. I did think long and hard about which British premium vehicle that I wanted to buy. Did only have money to buy either this one or the A13. And it turned out that I went for the Achilles. So we are trying out. Dang, how can that guy be so fast up here? Oh, he did not spot me. Okay, nice. Let's try to knock him out. Now this gun doesn't have a problem at all to penetrate any kind of tank that it will face. You will get through and knock out most tanks, even a Tiger, should you face one. Now it's not probable that you will though, but if you do, rest assured that you have the sufficient cannon to deal with one of those. Because with the right ammo and longer range, you will be able to knock out a Tiger using this 17 pounder. No sweat. Bang. Now that was a light target, so obviously that wasn't a big deal. But really there's really no tank that will not be penetrated by this gun. So in that sense it's a great gun, really. With this tank I do believe that we have probably encountered something that is going to be a T-34 killer once we encounter teams that are made out of only T-34s, because this gun will have no problem at all whatsoever to get through a T-34 chassis and the plate on the T-34, so that's kinda cool. I have tried it out a few times and it does seem like this gun is more than capable of dealing with T-34s. And their sloped hull armor, so no big issue there. You just point and click and things die. That's what it's like. Let's see if we spot anything down here. Seems like our Shafi teammate has found something. Yes. Panzer. We hit his commander's cupola. That won't do much. Let's see if we can... No, that's too... Let's see if we can knock that guy out. Hit his engine. Now he's on fire. Natural reaction would be to start reversing, but... Then again, his engine is out. Right means nothing. No, not to this gun. So let's see if we can get ourselves into some serious T-34 opposition. And this clip that I have for you right here is just a case, just like that. We're on Stalingrad, one of the new maps that recently came out during the patch 1.53. And it seems like I am not the only one who's trying out the Achilles. We have another Achilles right in front of us, and if I'm not completely mistaken, I think we had M10 Wolverine behind us. And here's some T-34s moving up. I tried to get the shot off at him at that point, but the gun depression was insufficient. Just when I get the gun down, there's another T-34. That's a T-34 model 1942, I believe. And I nail him just as he passed right by the gun. And just look at that shot. I shot that T-34 straight into the engine, and the shot just went straight through and killed one of the crewmen. So indeed, this gun does have some stopping power to it. If you use the Mark 8 ammo, which is the APC-BC ammo shell. And that was HU-122. Put 2 shells into him. And here comes a Stug 3. Bang, 1 shot. Dead crew. And I spot the Panzer IV between the piles of rubble. Fire at that Panzer IV. Failed to kill him with 1 shot. And then I spot the KV-2 here on the mound on the opposite side of the tracks. Try to fire at him. Try to hit the engine there. Failed to hit the engine. Aim low for the second shot. I set him on fire, but of course that doesn't stop his crew from answering the fire. He fires an AP round straight into the front of my tank, and it's game over from there. In the end, it turned out that I got 4 kills and 4 assists for this game. But we're gonna cut here and go over to the next game, because later on in this battle I found myself in a rather ridiculous position, chasing around a Russian tank destroyer around the ditch. And it's not worth watching, so let's go over to the next clip. So as we look at this next clip that I had, this is by the way the first game I ever played in the Achilles. I thought I would talk a little bit about Britain and the 17-pounders and the history behind the switch over to 17-pounder guns for their tank destroying tanks. Britain, just like the US, had at the start of the Second World War decided that their tanks were to be of 2 kinds. The ones that did support the infantry, and they would also have tanks that would be specialized to go up against other tanks. The US did adopt this doctrine more than the Brits. The Brits, who had been in the war since 1939, had sort of learned their lesson in the first years of the war, going up against the German panzers. And they knew that most of their armor would more or less face enemy armor sooner or later. They were in the mindset that if they would have tanks, the tanks would have to have a powerful gun, more or less. In the spring of 1944 in Italy, the German forces started to field Panther tanks, and the US Army encountered the first Panthers in Italy. And the Panther tank came as a shock to the Allied forces, since the Panther tank had a great gun and it had almost impenetrable armor. None of the M4 Shermans could even hurt that tank. So the Panther was more or less impenetrable to Allied tanks. There was literally no Allied tank that could challenge the Panther in a head-on duel and win it. Whereas the Panther, with its long 75mm gun, could knock out any Allied tank at most distances. So Allies came to different conclusions from first encountering the Panther. The Brits drew the correct conclusion that the Panther tank would be the future main battle tank of the German army. That is, the new medium tank, and that it would replace the Panzer IV. Whereas the US troops, or the US army, drew the conclusion that the Panther was a tank more like the Tiger I, and it would only see action in fewer numbers in small units. And oh boy, would they be wrong, because it turned out that the Brits were right. This was indeed the new main battle tank of the German army that they were currently facing in Italy. The main reason as to why they were seeing so few Panthers in Italy were naturally that the tank had just come into production, and also the environment in Italy wasn't really tank friendly, so moving about big units of tanks in the mountains of Italy wasn't the best of ideas. So the best thing was to operate in smaller numbers to disrupt the enemy. And after all, why should the Germans, who were on the defensive in Italy, field large numbers of tanks in big formations when there was really no need to do that? The Brits came to the conclusion that, okay, we need to do something about this. We need to equip our Lend-Lease tanks that we are getting from the US. After all, it's their tank doctrine that we have to adopt now that we are getting their Lend-Lease stuff. We can't have the 75mm dual purpose gun that the M4 Shermans have. It won't be viable in a future ground offensive in Europe. So we need to switch around and equip these tanks with something better than the gun that they do have at the moment. So what they did was that they started converting the M4 Sherman and the M4A4 into tanks that would later be called Firefly tanks. And those tanks had this 17-pounder cannon mounted onto the turret. And the decision to switch cannon from the 76mm anti-tank cannon that the M10 Wolverine came with to Britain to the 17-pounder has to be that they just wanted to use the same standardized ammo that some of their guns had. So they just took out the 76mm gun of the M10 Wolverine and then they replaced it with the 17-pounder. And that led to the turret being a little bit heavier and a little bit harder to turn around. I guess that's why we're having a hard time traversing the turret in this game with this tank. But then that's historical accuracy. This tank probably didn't have a motorized turret ring, so it had to be hand cranked, and that's what you get when you have to hand crank a turret around. It takes forever. By the way, did you know that to make the Tiger's turret do a full 360 while hand cranking the turret, it would take an experienced crew something like 2 minutes to do a full 360. So yeah. And they could engage the servo controls of the turret to put them on full or semi-drive or no electrical power drive at all. So that way they could preserve battery life and stuff for the turret when they really needed it. So this game is coming to a close here. I've been passive throughout the game. Haven't really done much. I've been killing tanks, alright, but I haven't really been aggressive at all. And this is the way you should play the tank, in my opinion. Just take it easy, hang back, and knock out tanks from afar. Or from close range as well. That also works. And we're going to have a closer look at some tactical thinking in this tank and what I think you should do when you play this thing in RB. So let's go over to that clip and I'll commentate it. So this time we're back in Stalingrad, and something that I've come to recognize pretty quickly when using this tank is that you do definitely need some hard cover between you and the enemy, because you don't really have any kind of armor on this tank, although we will see examples of me bouncing shells in this thing in the next clip. It doesn't occur all that often, believe me. Often you get, especially by the Tigers, one-shotted. You definitely have no business in taking fire from enemy tanks, and you should avoid doing that. at all costs. You know, you shouldn't take fire from enemy tanks. If you do, you're doing something wrong, because you're in a tank destroyer and you need to play the tank as such. There are heavy tanks that can stand and fight and take punishment, but tank destroyers aren't that kind of tank. They're made to be fast and mobile, to surprise the enemy, fire off a few shots, maybe knock out a few tanks and then move on. The main battle tanks are a different story. They're made to really duke it out with the enemy. In the Achilles, you need to be stealthy, or you need to hide behind something that is hard, that will take the punishment for you should you get fired upon. Something that you can reverse in behind and then fire. Now I'm taking fire from this this Panzer 35, and that tank should have no chance of penetrating, and indeed it didn't. But there's another tank over there. Don't really know what kind of tank it is, but I'm suspecting that it's probably that Panzer 35's friend that's up there somewhere. But we're gonna see me just hanging around this building for more or less the whole game. And yeah, as you could see there, I took a hit. I was lucky to take the hit into the gun breech, because the gun breech ate up that shot. If it had penetrated the upper glacis of the hull, I would probably have lost 2 or 3 of my crewmen in the tank. This time I got lucky, and I get to repair the tank. And I'm kind of thinking here, okay, what should I do? Is the Panzer IV going to wait for me or not? So I just stay here for a while, contemplate about what to do, and then I just drive up and I decide to knock him out. But by that time, the Panzer IV has been knocked out by a fellow T-34. So I just back up, start scanning the horizon for more targets, and I spot this muzzle flash over here at the far side of the valley. There is indeed something up there firing, so I decided, okay, let's go for it. One shot later, there's the dead Panzer IV F2. And this gun is very potent against Panzer IVs, you know. Panzer IVs, they don't have any business close to this tank unless they can circle around it. They won't survive many shells from the 17-pounder gun. And this gun really shreds Panzer IVs. And T-34s for that matter. And Tigers, if you get the chance, you know. There's a Panzer IV. He was lucky enough that I hit him when he was presenting himself as a profile. But the second shot comes from the front. It's a glancing hit. But watch this. Here's the third shot. And it's bye-bye. The shell just penetrates through the front, and then it shreds the whole interior of the tank, killing anything that will come in the shell's way. So that's my third kill. I start scanning for targets. Can't really see much. I go out, can't see much either. But I don't want to push up ahead, because when I push up, that's when I go into the area where this tank doesn't really shine at all, and that is close encounters, or close combat encounters. This tank sucks at traversing the gun, and raising or lowering the gun. Beware of those things, and try not to do them as much as possible. Just try to stay stealthy, stay sneaky, and just exploit the strong selling points of the tank as long as you can. And those are long range sniping, medium range sniping, and you know, just general tank on tank combat distances. That's where this thing will shine. That, and of course, gun power. This gun is just awesome. Every shot you fire at any Panzer III or Panzer IV will go out through the back of the tank if it penetrates the front. Rest assured of that, because the penetrating power on these shells are just enormous, and they really make for a great gun. So up until now you've heard me talking a lot about how good the gun is. I thought maybe we should take it to the test. Maybe try it out in the test range first and see just how potent this gun is, what kind of tank you can knock out with the Achilles. And then after that I'll show you the duel of duels, the worst opposition that you will face in this tank, and that is a duel against the Tiger 1 that I had recently that I thought is worth watching. So please stick around for that, and let's try out the gun, shall we? Okay, so I thought we would make a simple gun test with the Achilles, just to see how potent this gun really is. Let's see if we can pen the upper glacis of a Panther with Mark 8 ammo. No, we cannot. Let's just check the lower glacis. Yeah, no problem there. And yeah, this thing could actually knock out Panthers in combat, given the fact that it actually uses the same 17-pounder that the Firefly Sherman used. So does that mean that it can also knock out a King Tiger? A King Tiger that is using the Henschel turret? Or der Serienturm, I think it's also called. And that does more or less mean the series turret. Okay, so let's try here on the right side of the upper glacis. No pen there. Let's try the low glacis. See if we can get through. No? Okay, so let's try the turret. No. So we have no pen whatsoever on the King Tiger, and that is more or less historically accurate, because they had to use APCR ammo to take down King Tigers when they used the 17-pounder. So let's see if you can knock out the King Tiger by shooting it in the side with the Achilles. It should be doable. Yeah, no question about that. Seems like we killed a few of the crew there. I don't think we need to test the gun on the Jagd Tiger. Alright, so we're on Mostock. This is going to get rough, I don't doubt. Since we're in a Tiger or a rank 2 tank destroyer. And we're going up against Tigers. It's not really a bad setup. You know, this tank can actually deal with Tigers. But the thing is that if you mess up with your first shot and you allow the Tiger to answer the fire, chances are that you will most likely be dead. Let's see if we can spot the German tanks over here. There should be Tigers moving up, especially around this area. Somebody there's the Tiger. Come on, lower the barrel, please. This is one of the greatest flaws with this machine. Gun traverse and the elevation is so poor that you will often miss your target. There. That wasn't even a hit. Uh-oh. Let's see if we can hit him now. Yes. Glancing hit though. Let's see if we can nail him as he tries to cross the ridge here. Of course I do have to see him first. Now where are you? Little tiger. Seems like he's down in the ditch there. Or in the gully. No, there he is. Shit. Got this gunner. Now, look at this gun. And the effectiveness on it. It's awesome. You know. Such a great gun. And this is actually a gun that they used against tigers. You know, they used these tank destroyers to deal with panthers and tigers. When they didn't have to deal with Panzer IVs, of course. Since the US armed forces preferred to send in tank destroyers after enemy tanks instead of just sending in the regular M4s. Can't blame them really, because you know, the M4s didn't do all too well against other tanks. Let's see if we can. Do we have that? Do we have a bead on that tiger? No, I think he retreated. Someone is firing down here. That's a T-34. So this is probably the best or the most well equipped tank at rank 2 in the way of gun power. It's just an awesome gun. And the Brits used it for more or less all their tanks. Even the Centurion had the 17-pounder. So all in all, it's a superb gun, and it does definitely do what it's supposed to do, and that is knock out tanks. Now, is the tiger still up here? He could be. Or maybe he retreated. I don't know. No, no contact. Let's just hang tight for a second. There. Shit. This is going to be a hard shot. Yeah. Better to seek cover instead, and then deal with him when he's out in the open. Where is he? He was over here. There he is. I have no shot on that tiger. Nope. Let's see if we can make it happen over here. That's a miss. That's not the miss. Got this gunner. Let's see if we can knock him out. Got the horizontal turret drive. Hit the side of the tank. No joy there. Let's try to hit the machine gun port. Oh, that was way too high. Let's go for another shot here.
On target. Got him. We have taken the initiative.
We're just harassing this tiger.
We failed to acquire the target.
Let's try to hit that. It's hard to penetrate, but this gun will. Oh shit!
It serves him right.
No way! That was a Robin Hood shot, right? Or maybe it wasn't. It looked like the shot just went straight down the barrel and then it was deflected down into the tank. Wow, nice. Nice shot nevertheless. And as you could see there, this tank can really beat up a tiger without the problem. If you plan on getting this tank and you play a lot of simulator battles, this is what you're going to face most likely. I really like this tank, it's awesome. I really, really like it. Although we did only get one kill, we placed 11th in the team. I'm using this video as a showcase as to why you shouldn't be afraid of higher ranked vehicles when you're using the Achilles, because the Achilles is awesome. This gun will get through most tanks. Obviously you can't knock out a king tiger in front-on-front duel, but against the tiger up to ranges at about 1400, sure. You know, this tank was able to knock out tigers and panthers at those ranges and below. So yeah, this tank is awesome. I love it. And maybe I should also show you my service record for it. I've been playing simulator battles. I died 6 times, gotten 10 kills. That's not too much. But this was what I wanted to show you. I've played 45 battles in the Achilles and I've scored 84 kills. And I've died 33 times. And I got the win percentage of 71%. So kill to death ratio in this thing is almost something like 2.6, 2.7. So yeah, we still have a few more kills to go to get to a 3.0 kill to death ratio. But play this thing cautiously and stay behind hard cover if you can, and you'll do just fine in this thing. Just avoid close combat encounters, because this tank doesn't really do well at all when it comes to traversing the turret around or elevating or depressing the gun. It has a good depression on the gun, don't get me wrong on that, but it takes some time to get the gun down, so you really need to prepare for that and pre-crank the turret around and stuff like that. So I do like this tank. It's a fairly good one, and I can see myself having a lot of fun with this tank in the future. So yeah, thank you all for watching, guys. Hope you liked the review. Have a good day, and I hope to see you around for the next video.